Right, UFC Tybura versus, I've forgotten his name already, Tuivasa. First fight, Anheliger versus Charalampos Grigoriou. Don't know how to pronounce his name. Honestly, I'm going with Grigoriou to win this fight because with Anheliger, although he's got more experience in the UFC, he doesn't look that good. The only thing I'll say that's good about him is he has got good footwork. But apart from good footwork, okay, you could also say he has power as well, but this guy has power. He's a better wrestler than him. Anheliger gets taken down in every single fight. Grigoriou's not really a wrestler, but he can do it. But I think the power of him and the size will be a problem. Like, I look at Chad, I'm not just talking about his height, like his reach as well, 64. It's not the longest. And when they're exchanging in the pocket, you'll see that Charalampos has got very good setups. So if he's got very good setups, it's going to be hard for Anheliger to get into range and be able to do like anything significant with his striking. Therefore, I do believe that Charalampos is going to win via decision because although he gets a lot of knockouts, Anheliger, I don't know why I keep butchering his name, he never really gets knocked out. And he has fought decent opposition. Jose Johnson, he was getting hit with like these elbows, and his elbows can knock people the fuck out, and it didn't knock him out. And you've also got guys like Haley, another powerful striker, who at times can be chinned, like we saw against Fares Zahabi, but 37 years of age at bantamweight, he's getting old now. Knockout is very possible, but I think he's going to beat him to decision. I think he's going to have too much power for him, and he's going to get caught in the chin, dropped, but he'll end up surviving. I'm just fighting to survive in this fight. Right, Thiago Moisés versus Mitch Ramirez. I feel bad for fighters who have to deal with this. Like, you come off the Contender Series, you don't even win on the Contender Series, you lose by Carlos Pratis. No shame in that. The guy knocked out Trevin Giles after looking like he's about to lose the fight, but it's not that. It's the fact that he's coming off a loss on the Contender, well, not in MMA, but on the Contender, and he is fighting against Moisés. The guy just fought Benoit Saint Denis. Yeah, he got beaten up badly, but that's BSD. You're talking about some random guy off the Contender who his grappling looked good. This is not a good matchup for him. The only thing he might be better than Mitch Ramirez is lifting weights in the gym, because yeah, he's stronger than Thiago Moisés. But how will he beat him? I think Mitch Ramirez is going to lose to Thiago Moisés by submission. I think he's going to go for a lot of like takedowns in the fight, Mitch Ramirez. I know he can also strike a bit. He's got power. But with Thiago Moisés' striking, again, it's nothing special. He can tend to back up a lot and start to like swing, but he doesn't have power, in my opinion. So I think he should submit him in the second round. It reminds me of the Melquizel Costa fight. Like, that fight shouldn't have happened at the time. And it's similar here where you've got a guy who's more experienced. I think round one, after that, he'll be gassed because Thiago Moisés is a very strong grappler. I know I said that Mitch Ramirez is stronger, but as the rounds go on, he can get better when he's not coming up against a guy who's a bad matchup. Like, this guy don't really throw that many kicks. He uses boxing and he likes to use wrestling. So I believe Thiago Moisés' wrestling is going to counter that, and it's going to end up bringing him down to the ground in round two and getting an arm triangle submission over him. Because Mitch Ramirez does leave his head a bit open when he goes on like those single legs and double legs. And not only that, he's not at this level, not ready for this opponent yet. So if he wins it, I'll be shocked, but nothing shows me that he will. Josh Culibao versus Danny Silva. I am going with Culibao, but I'm not going to be shocked if Danny Silva wins the fight. And I think he'll win the fight via decision. Danny Silva was on the Contender Series, and he puts on an extremely high pace. 200 strikes landed in a 3-round fight. People don't even do that in a 5-round fight. Most of the time. They don't always do that. And Josh Culibao, fast hands. The only problem I have with him is at times takedown defense can be an issue. Like, Lerone Murphy never grapples. Not only that, body shots. So when he was getting hit to the body by Lerone Murphy, you could see he was struggling. Well, Danny Silva is that type of guy where he won't just mix up the boxing, he will also use those body shots. And he's like a very grindy fighter. So when he gets tough, he's very good at pushing through it, landing elbows against Andrew Pacheco. He was another guy in the contender, and he'd just push you against the cage and just fight you there. Like when you're getting tired, like I can see Culibao losing the third round. Like he'll be getting a bit tired, and you'll see Danny Silva finishing a bit stronger. That is if they're in a knockout, because Culibao very fast-handed, Danny Silva low guard, not extremely fast, but more technical at times than Culibao can be. Like Culibao's mainly a headhunter. Danny Silva will work the body. They're both boxers, but Danny Silva will work the body more than he'll work like just the head. He won't land more head strikes, but what I'm saying is he will mix both of them up. He's not like Culibao, who's just going to use those fast hands, not look for a knockout, but just try and outbox you. Osbourne versus Jafel Filho. Obvious pick, Jafel Filho, but how will he do it? I'm thinking third round submission, because Osbourne will start off fast, and if he does his homework, as Cringy Rockhold would say, against Jafel Filho, you need to attack the body, because he got dropped, I believe, with a body shot against Daniel Perez. And yeah, it was. And Osbourne, I know he can kick. So I think first round, Osbourne will be winning the fight and we'll be like, what's going on? And then Jafel Filho in the second round will improve with the striking and look to take Jafel Filho down. No, we'll look to take down Osbourne down. And when he gets Osbourne down, what he'll look to do is maintain control and look for the submission. So I could see it being a round where round 2 he's just getting the control time and he wins the round even though there's not much damage. And then round 3 he goes out there again. Osbourne's starting to get a bit tired, and then he takes the back, looks for a rear naked choke, and he gets it on him. And I can't believe this guy beat Charles Johnson. I really can't. But it's not a fight where he can grapple with Filho. And if he dares to, which he might, he shouldn't, but he might. God knows what goes through some fighters' minds at times. Jafel Filho will beat him via submission third round. I think it'll be a third round. It has to be. I don't see it being early. And I don't see Osbourne KOing him unless he does it in the first round. And here is the one WMMA fight I will talk about on this card. And it has to be Josiane Nunes against Chelsea Chandler. You're going to be shocked with who I'm going with, but I'll tell you why. I'm going with Chandler to win via decision. And I know you're going to be like, how are you going to pick her against a girl with explosive, I'm joking, not explosive power, but someone who's got very fast hands. And I'll tell you why. Look back at that UFC 283. That woman she fought was 6'4", some can from France, yeah. She could not land in range. She was really struggling until the second round. And I think against someone like Chelsea Chandler, she's kind of like big, like built like how some men are built, like bigger than some of the flyweights. I know it's in a bigger class than flyweight, but she's bigger and taller than some of them. Josiane Nunes is small. I can just see this being a wrestler against striker battle. And remember, it's WMMA. Very unpredictable at times. I think Chelsea Chandler's going to go out there and do what she did to Julia Stolarenko, but not TKO her. But when Josiane Nunes is trying to rush into the pocket, as she's trying to throw and she's struggling to land and like trying to like whale her hands up to reach the head, but because she's so tall, and she's not even that tall, but I mean like for a woman, it's going to open up that body lock clinch and she's going to use that to bring her down to the ground. And because of how big she is, it doesn't matter how much Nunes tries on the ground to escape, she will look like a fish out of water and just get drowned with the grappling by Chandler. And I know it sounds stupid because striking wise, Chandler was running away from punches the last time I saw her fight. So you'd be like, well, that would make me believe that Chandler should beat her. No, lose to her. But no, because I saw what she did to Stolarenko, and I'm thinking about the height difference between the two here. I think this is going to be the one that might shock you and just hug her for 3 rounds. So yeah, Mike Davis versus Natan Levy. I'm not even joking. Before, I actually thought that Mike Davis was a striker, but deep down, well, he might be, but he likes to grapple more than he likes to strike. And because Natan Levy, to me, is just a wrestler, I know what he's going to do. He's going to go out there shooting for the legs, hoping that he can get a takedown, and he'll fail to get the takedown. And because Mike Davis is so much bigger than him, He's stronger than him. He's got good takedown defense. And Natan Levy, his game plan will only work against cans who haven't got good takedown defense and he can just spam takedowns. If he does that, Mike Davis will be able to read what he's doing and it will force him to have to strike. And no karate of Natan Levy was going to work on Mike Davis because Mike Davis is a good striker. I said before, I used to think he was a striker, but then decided to grapple depending on who he came against. Like, his only 2 losses are to Gilbert Burns, and Sadiq Youssef, 2 ranked guys. One who's bigger than him, and the other one who's higher in the rankings than him in featherweight. And that's not bad, no shame in that. But with Natan Levy, he could get knocked out, but what I'm going to go with is Mike Davis. And you know what? I'm going to go with decision, because with Natan Levy, I think he's going to hope to be in his back. And Mike Davis, like I said before, he can strike, but I think he'll look to take down Natan Levy. He won't respect the jiu-jitsu of Natan Levy because it's not really defensive jiu-jitsu, it's more offensive. So if he can't get him down, where is it going to work? He's not just going to jump on a guillotine and beat him. It's not going to work on Mike Davis because 1, he will strike with you, hit you with uppercuts and different type of combinations that are effective, then look to bring you down to the ground as well. So he's bigger than him, he's stronger, more power, he's just better than him again. This fight right here, I wouldn't put any money on it because it's unpredictable. It reminds me of like a WMMA fight in terms of unpredictability because Meerschaert should win on paper, but he can make some like really brain damaged decisions that could end up losing. So I do think he's going to win it. And how will he beat Bryan Barberena? I think decision. I think he's going to look for submissions. Bryan Barberena, we've known him as a guy who is quite easy to submit, it seems like. Rafael dos Anjos is doing it. Remember, Bryan Barberena, also another thing I forgot to mention. He's at middleweight right now. He looks out of shape at middleweight. He's never looked in shape in his career, but this is a really bad, run of his. He's going to end up on a Tony Ferguson win streak. Well, not a win streak, loss streak. If he keeps going this way, because Gerald Meerschaert, if he can just go out there and try and take him down, don't mess about with the striking. I know you knocked down Bruno Silva, but just because you do that, it doesn't mean you are a better striker than Bryan Barberena. He's not. But he's got something that Bryan Barberena can't defend, takedowns. And Gerald Meerschaert is bigger than Rafael dos Anjos, and if you're getting taken down by a guy like that, who can wrestle good, but isn't as big, and Gerald Meerschaert is a good wrestler as well, it's not going to end well for him. So I see it being a fight where it's going to be a goofy type of fight where Bryan Barberena might drop him to one knee, Gerald Meerschaert shoots in, takes him down to the ground and just keeps taking the backing. Gerald Meerschaert's kind of a clutch fighter. He's a fighter where he can be getting knocked down. He can start off quite bad sometimes. It's a flip of a coin with how he's going to perform and then pull something out. Like Dustin Stoltzfus was winning that fight until he got that submission. Bruno Silva, that was just odd. Alex Pereira couldn't knock him down, yet Gerald Meerschaert could. Yet if you put Gerald Meerschaert in the fights with Alex Pereira, he wouldn't have knocked down any of the opponents. So, yeah. It's a weird type of matchup, but I think decision. Although a submission, yeah, you know what? I'm going to go with a submission, round 3, because he's that clutch type of fighter. But a decision, I wouldn't be surprised about either. Right, Isaac Dulgarian versus Christian Rodriguez. I think this fight is a very entertaining fight because we know that Christian Rodriguez has shown very good takedown defense, decent striking, even against a guy like Cameron Saman. But Isaac Dulgarian gives you something that not a lot of UFC fighters have had. He is an extremely good wrestler. And I don't think he's going to KO Christian Rodriguez. I think it'll be a competitive decision. It's going to be a grappling match because Isaac Dulgarian only needed one takedown against Francis Marshall. And Francis Marshall is quite beefy. Isaac Dulgarian don't look quite big. But as soon as he gets that one takedown, this guy's been wrestling since the age of probably 7. I don't know how old. But you just type in his name on YouTube and you will see the wrestling of him. He was doing Granby rolls before he hit puberty. This guy should go places in the UFC. I think this guy eventually if everything goes the way I think it could go, it could become ranked. I'm not going to say champion or anything. But 27, Rodriguez looks good. And he's got good takedown defense. But this isn't going to be some like basic single or double leg. This guy knows high-level techniques that the average UFC wrestler won't do. Like I say, Granby rolls at that age. Double legs, power double legs, clinching, taking you down. He does like techniques that you just can't read. And I think Christian Rodriguez, although he's fought a lot of good opponents, like the Jonathan Pierce fight, it will be a repeat of that. But he won't be getting close to dropping Isaac Dulgarian because he's got power, even on the feet. But I think his power you see is from the ground and pound. A lot of UFC fighters do struggle. Like when you think of a wrestler who can just take someone down and ground and pound them, Chandler, for example, you don't see a lot of them who are just really good at just bringing them down. A lot of fighters like to bring people down, lay on top of them, find a position, land some ground and pound, maintain the position. Dulgarian's the guy who'll bring you down and he's looking to be all offense whilst maintaining good control because of his experience in grappling. And I think this is the fight where he's going to win this fight. And I'll say 29-28. I'll give Rodriguez the benefit of the doubt, but I think the bookmakers know what they're doing by making him favourite. And recency bias might be a painful thing to say, but it's not just that. This guy, it's not like it's his first fight in the UFC. Francis Marshall is a strong guy who can grapple. Isaac Dulgarian don't look strong, but he is one of them strong guys. And that's where I think it'll be an issue for Rodriguez, where he won't telegraph them. These are going to be well-worked and trained takedowns, and he'll get him down and just be stronger on the bottom than him. On top. Right, Canadian Nzechukwu versus Ovince in Preux. I think it's obvious what's going to happen. KO. Round 1. But, no, you know what? I'm not sure about round 1. Canadian Nzechukwu, again, another guy who can sometimes start off quite slow. That Jacoby fight really confused me. Like, Devin Clark was able to hug him against the cage for the whole of round 1. And Ovince in Preux, I don't know why he doesn't grapple anymore. Why doesn't he just bring someone down? He won't win this fight. But he could if he actually listened, and well, obviously he wouldn't listen to me, but brought the fight down to the ground. But his chin is gone, in my opinion. Canadian Nzechukwu is much bigger than him. Lynn's ain't that big compared to Canadian Nzechukwu, who's 6'5", fighting a light heavyweight. Should be a heavyweight. 40 years of age. Last fight against Lynn's, you could tell he's done. You know a fighter's done when they're getting hit, they're covering up, they're not looking to counter, they're just looking to take a beating, run away and hope to survive. Bang, left hook sits them down. Tony Ferguson's a bit like that, but he didn't get knocked down. He just runs away from punches and looks like he ain't got any defense. Ovince in Preux for you, so I'm going to stick to round 1. I thought maybe round 2 because Canadian Nzechukwu can start off slow and maybe Preux will go for like a takedown, but I'm going to be honest with myself. Canadian Nzechukwu is going to win the fight by first round KO. But I would not be surprised if somehow Ovince in Preux goes out there, gets him against the cage, watches what Devin Clark did, but bring him down and look for like an arm triangle. Do not bet anything on this fight. It's not worth it for the value that you're going to get. But this is what should happen. Bryan Battle versus Ange Loosa. Can someone tell me, what does Pooh Bear mean? Winnie the Pooh, what does it mean? That's irrelevant, but anyways. Bryan Battle. Out of all the names you could have picked, but yeah, I picked him against Gabe Green and he made me a little bit from that. That's not why I'm picking him here. I'm going with him to win via... How will he beat? I'm trying to think. It depends what his approach... You know what? KO... And I believe he should do it in the second round. Because with Ange Loosa, he has a chin. He survived Jack Della Maddalena. But think about it. He was able to neutralise some of the striking by bringing him down. Getting a deep arm triangle. Not finishing him. But Bryan Battle, I believe, is going to match the size of him. He ain't going to like weight bully him. He tends to get a bit tired. He can have a good first round. But because of all the muscle he carries, the amount of aerobic endurance that you need is very high. Therefore, against Bryan Battle, he's going to get tired because he'll look to strike and he'll miss a lot. And when you miss strikes, it makes you tired. Bryan Battle's got some good body shots. I think by the end of the first round, he'll be tired. And then Bryan Battle will be working the body. And then he'll start mixing up some shots at range to the head, because I don't think he'll want to fight in the centre. Because if you look at that fight of AJ Fletcher, although he started a bit slow, he can start off fast in the first round. And I think Ange Loosa will miss a lot. His punches will be very telegraphed, and he'll end up getting finished in the second round. And I don't think he'll be able to do what Rinat did, because Rinat is a different type of wrestler. Ange Loosa is like a basic... He's just a balanced fighter who isn't really that good at anything. Like that Reece McKee fight, that was alright. But then again, in that Reece McKee fight, it was a bit worrying because he was getting a bit tired, and I thought near the end of the fight he was going to throw it away. So I think he'll get finished due to him being exhausted and Bryan Battle winning because of body shots from early and getting a finish. So it could be round 3, but I'll go with round 2. Right, Marcin Tybura versus Tai Tuivasa. I would say that Marcin Tybura is a better fighter than Tai Tuivasa overall, but that doesn't matter at heavyweight. I'm going with a round 2 TKO. And I think round 2 because I think round 1, Tai Tuivasa will work the leg kicks. Marcin Tybura is one of them fighters where if he used his wrestling more, he would be way better, but he doesn't. And because of that, I know he's going to stand there and strike. And what happened with Tom Aspinall is going to happen. He's going to be messing about on the feet, but Tai Tuivasa isn't going to confuse him with the footwork. I think he will fight in the pocket. He's good at getting into the pocket, but he'll miss a lot in the pocket as well. But he'll eventually catch you with an overhand right. Look what happened to Ciryl Gane. Ciryl Gane, we all talk about how technical he is. He got a bit complacent in there. And Tybura is one of them fighters where he's complacent and don't shoot takedowns on people enough. Therefore, Tai Tuivasa is going to have the moments where they're in like the pocket, and Tybura, I get confused with the names. He's going to look to exchange with him, and because they'll both roll with the punches, who am I picking to fight better in the pocket? Tai Tuivasa any day of the week. And he's got the better leg kicks, and I think that will neutralise his movement in round 1. And because I know Tybura don't shoot in enough, he's going to get knocked out. If Tybura, I'll say it again, if he takes him down early, he will win the fight via submission. Spivak has done it to him. But I know he won't, because he rarely does it. He might get one takedown a fight. Like, he managed to get like one takedown on Greg Hardy, and I know he was in the NFL and all that. But look at him now. He ain't even in the UFC, and if you're struggling to take down guys like that, maybe his wrestling is overrated. Maybe he's not that good at wrestling. Like, his way to win would be by taking him down and submitting him. But he's 38, and I don't look into that too much. I look into the striking because that's his choice in the fight with what to do. So I think Tai Tuivasa is going to find his way into the pocket and get a KO and put him down. A TKO finish, referee stops it in the second round. And yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching. Talk to you soon.